Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, this is a voice that hasn't blessed your ears for nearly 2 years. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I gasped at shock, audible horror that Mr. Teacups hasn't uploaded a video on this channel since the 10th of December, 2021. I remember it like it was yesterday. Yeah, it's been a while. Time has gone by incredibly quick. We'll be talking about that in this video today. And there's a reason why I'm making a commentary while sick. I usually wouldn't make a commentary while sick because I sound absolutely horrible right now. But today is a very special day. Well, not a special day. Tomorrow is a very special day. This is the penultimate day where I can actually make this commentary. This is my final day of being in my 20s, which is mad. This is absolutely insane, really. I know it's just like, I'm just getting older. Everyone's going to naturally get older, but generally didn't feel like I would hit 30 anytime soon, and suddenly it's just crept around the corner. I think for me, since I was turned around about 27, I kind of got a little bit aware, like, oh shit, like 30 is kind of creeping up on me a little bit. And yeah, the years have just absolutely flown by. I'm currently 29. Obviously tomorrow I'm going to be the big 3-0, and yeah, it's kind of horrifying. So we're going to be talking about that today. This is like my 15th attempt of making this commentary because this cold is killing me. I've got this like self-fulfilling prophecy every single year since I was about 21. My first year of university, I have got the flu every single birthday week, no matter what. And this year exactly the goddamn same. Literally on Sunday, I was like, okay, I'm taking a week off work for my birthday week, which I've done for the last 4 years. And every single week, without fail, I just catch it from somewhere. I literally touched grass on a Sunday. I went out for dinner, came back literally an hour later. I was like, oh, my throat is starting to fucking hurt. I've literally caught something. I was literally seething. I was fucking seething because I was like, I'm going to be ill. Because that's the thing. It's like, just gotta wait, innit? Like the way you get over a cold or a flu, it's just time. But I was like, well, this is my birthday week. I've booked this off. I want to do some shit with my life, but I literally can't because it's fucking killed me this week. Like, it's not even 5 days already, and I still feel like absolute ass. But anyway, that's my woes. We're gonna be talking about the big topic today, but this is the thing. In the background right now, I'm gonna have some gameplay actually. Ooh, I'm blessing you with some gameplay as well, and it's actually gonna be Call of Duty related. Because if you didn't know, Activision or Blizzard, whatever the fuck you want to call it, they're running out of ideas and they're releasing Modern Warfare 3 this year. I know it's not 2011. I wish it was fucking 2011, but they're releasing Modern Warfare 3 this year, and they released Modern Warfare 2 last year. And I played the beta on PS5. I had to dust off the old PS5 because console gaming is cringe, but I thought I'd give it a go. I streamed it for like an hour or something like that, and it was alright. Yeah, I actually have to say it wasn't that bad to play, mainly because they brought old maps back, so I had that huge hit of, well, nostalgia. And as you guys know, nostalgia is a very, very good currency. I don't even know where I'm going with that, but you know, nostalgia sells. Yeah, it felt kind of cool playing, I think, like Skid Row and some of the maps from Modern Warfare 2 again. And to be fair, like, I like the way they've done the setup in Modern Warfare 3. I actually didn't play Modern Warfare 2. Like, this is the thing for me. I actually haven't bought a Call of Duty since, I think, oh god, Modern Warfare, like 2019. I didn't buy Vanguard. I made a commentary about Vanguard in 21. I didn't buy Cold War. I didn't buy Modern Warfare 2, and I'm probably not going to buy Modern Warfare 3 unless I can pick it up for, you know, big old cheap at the end of the day. But yeah, it was kind of cool playing it. But I can't play on controller anymore, bro. Like, I'm a PC gamer, man. I'm a PC gamer. Yeah, controllers is just kind of just a little bit naff at the end of the day. But yeah, it was kind of nice playing those maps, and I'm not really going to talk about it because I'm not going to make videos back because I got no time anymore, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is the thing, we're going to jump into the topic of this video. It's going to be a long one because I haven't talked about, you know, this shit for like 2 years, and obviously if you're watching this far, you love your boy Mr. Teacups, so you want to get your Mr. Teacups news. And here's the thing, if you're not subscribed to Original Content HD or Unoriginal Content HD, you're probably wondering where your boy has been for like nearly 2 years now. Life. Let's just go over it before we hit on the big 3-0. So last time I made a video, I was working at like Amazon as like an IT technician. As usual, I gotta preface this, I've made videos throughout the past like 2 years, just never got around to uploading them. This one is going to be uploaded though, because this is a big milestone. This is just documenting my life history. But yeah, so I was working Amazon IT the last time I made a video, and yeah, it was going well. But yeah, it's nice to get out of the warehouse. Yeah, it's nice to get out of like night shift. It was nice to be actually doing something. You know, doing a more technical job. But the thing is, things changed really quick. So obviously at this point, 2 years ago, like in December, and like things were nice. Like well, it wasn't nice. Like I was driving an hour each way on the motorway to this Amazon warehouse I was working at. But the thing was, it was nice to go there and actually do more of a technical job. And to be fair, doing IT at Amazon at the time, it was so fucking easy. Like, it's like Amazon is $1 trillion company for a reason. Most of their processes have been thought out to the wit's end. They shouldn't really break that much. If they do break, the maintenance on it is incredibly easily. But yeah, I was working there. Like, I was working with some really great people. I was a really great team, made some really good friends in that. But I had to think about my future, because this is the mad thing, right? So as I said, last time I made a video was December 2021. By April of the following year, of 2022, the team I worked with, right? So I got to this new warehouse. There was 9 of us as IT technicians. And at that time, in April, there was, I think, 6 of them have already left. So from the OG first day of opening, there was 3 guys left. Yeah, because the other guys had just gone for other jobs. They'd just gone and left for other jobs and stuff like that. And it was kind of just insane, because everyone got a little bit bored there. Like, the IT job wasn't really challenging. They wanted to go for more pay, which is fully understandable. And this is the thing. You're still working at Amazon at the end of the day. It's a fucking hellhole. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they're like, it was kind of mad to see all these guys leaving, because originally when I got to the IT job, I was like, oh, I'm going to be here for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You know, I was just happy to get out of, borderline slavery in the warehouse. You know what I'm saying? But when I saw these guys jumping ship, I was like, should I? Like, I was like, well, is the grass greener? I was like, well, for one, like, if I get a job that's closer to home, I'm not fucking have to drive an hour each way on a motorway every single day. You know what I'm saying? Also, I might not have to work 10.5-hour shifts anymore, which would actually be quite nice. But this is a crazy thing, right? As usual, when it at the time, like, I was kind of a little bit comfy even when those guys left. But this is a crazy thing that happened. So the guys that left, only like 1 or 2 of them got replaced. So it ended up being like, you know, the job, like, so the job was for 9 people, but once people started leaving, a couple of them got replaced, the job became for 6 people. So the same workload, but 6 people have now got to do it. But then another one leaves, and now 5 people have got to do the workload of 9 people. And my manager, well, this is the thing, so with Amazon, IT technically at that time didn't have a night shift, but they had a late shift. So you had to do like a 1:30 to a midnight shift. And we used to permanently have a guy doing that, but he left. So instead of my manager was a fucking idiot. I even said this in my leaving interview. I was like, well, my manager was ill for my leaving interview, so I had to rant to another manager about my manager making the stupidest decision. Because I'm when it comes to being managed, I'm really lightweight. I'll just do my work, get on with it, whatever. But the decision my manager made was, instead of hiring a new person to replace that shift, which was a horrible shift because nobody wanted to fucking do it except like kind of like night hours. And for me, I didn't want to go back to working up until midnight because that's still fucking night shift. I used to work till 5 in the morning. Working till midnight is literally no different when you got a fucking hour drive home, you know what I'm saying? But my manager thought it'd be a good idea, instead of hiring a new geezer for that shift, the current people who were already there, we had to do rotation shifts. So at the time, it was literally me and one other guy on my shift pattern. So we were doing 1 week on, which was stupid, right? We should have done 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, but we did 1 week on, 1 week off. So 1 week I was in at 7 in the morning, and the next week I was in at 1:30 in the afternoon. And it fucking decimated me, bro. It absolutely decimated me. And the worst thing, right? Even though you're technically working half and you're enough the vast majority of a night shift, there was no extra pay, no compensation, no nothing. So when my manager made that absolute borderline idiotic, just retarded decision, I was like, well, I what's what I'm looking for? I lost all faith in her managerial skills, and I was like, well, she's just gonna fuck me over again in the future. I lost faith in her, and at that point I was like, yeah, okay. And I started heavily applying for other jobs. And for me, it's like I have like a programming degree, so I was like, well, you know, at the time I was 28, I was like, I kind of got to use this. It's kind of now or never, because, you know, if I keep putting it off, it's going to be really harder to get into like the industry for like software engineering or anything like that. But yeah, so I started spending my time coming in at Amazon in the morning, and I'd open up LinkedIn, Indeed, all that crap, and I was just applying to every single job underneath the goddamn sun. And yeah, it was kind of nuts. Like, for anybody out there that's in the software industry is applying for jobs right now, I feel you, because it was depressing, man. I think I applied for like 200 plus jobs, filling out CVs, doing some cover letters, like doing all this crap. Like, this thing with software engineering, you got multiple different types of like potential interviews. You got like coding interviews, you got leak code interviews, you got a take-home task interviews, you got in-person stuff. And I started getting quite a lot of them, and I started just getting no feedback for tons of them, because there's just so many people applying for the jobs and that. And I was really starting to lose faith until 1 week in July of 2022. This was actually kind of nuts, actually. So in July of 2022, out of nowhere, I got like 5 interview offers. I was like, what? Like literally, I was hearing nothing for ages. Then in this 1 week, I booked in like three interviews, like 1 online test and 1 take-home interview. I was like, what the actual fuck? I was like, what? I guess there's something going on in the background, like maybe it's like a firing week or something, or hiring week. I don't know. But anyway, it was a really weird week for me because for the first time in working in that warehouse as an essential worker throughout the whole pandemic, so this thing's Amazon in 2022, in April of 2022, they didn't recognize COVID anymore. So at that point, if you had COVID, you still had to come into work. You would not get paid if you're sick. They just treat it like the flu. So if you had COVID, get your ass in, bro. Start slaving away, pack your dildos or whatever. And for me, right, so I'm in that warehouse the whole fucking pandemic. I'm surrounded by people constantly getting it nonstop, and I never tested positive, right? Then July comes, I get COVID for the first time, and my manager was like, "Well, you just got to work, innit?" So I remember I came into work, right, when I caught COVID, because it fucking killed me, right? I came into work on 2 hours of sleep. I drove on the motorway there on 2 hours of sleep, done my shift as IT, and it was a very busy shift, and I had to drive back. It was fucking depressing. But anyway, done my shift, and then like 3 days later, I had an interview for the job I took right now, and it was really kind of insane. I had to go up to London. So I'm in Bristol, and I had to go to London. For anybody that knows around this area, Bristol to London is one of the most expensive train routes in the country, and that's the thing for me. I was really debating whether to go to the interview or not, because a solo ticket there and back with a rail card was still like £60, bro. That's a lot of money, and I had to take a day off of fucking work as well. So it was kind of like, well, humming and hawing, do I actually go? Because like, do I want to do this journey, spend 60 quid to go up there and fail an interview and come back? You know what I'm saying? Like I was really debating it, but I was like, well, I might as well go. So I got up to this interview, and it really kind of weirded me out at first. So it was like at this random like hall in London, and there was like 50 people there. It was rammed, bro. And I was like, we all had name tags and stuff like that. And I was like, have I walked into like an MOM? Am I about to get sold like Tupperware or something? I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was getting a little bit sketchy vibes from it, because I was like, this is just weird. I didn't get told anything about this interview process or anything like that. But anyway, to get this interview, I had to make a little project anyway. I made a little website with this API they wanted us to connect to called the Cats API. So I made a website where you could just click on cats from the API, and they were impressed by that because I made it in like 30 minutes. But anyway, I go in, and it was like, oh man, it really teased me, bro. So we had a presentation on the job. So I was applying obviously for an entry level like graduate associate position, and bro, the presentation sold me on it straight away. Coding, remote work, less hours per week, more money, learn new technologies. Bro, I was sold. Like then and there, I was like, I need this job. They've literally dangled the golden carrot in front of my face. I need this right now. But we had to have a group interview, right? So we had a group interview, then we had to have a solo interview. And the group interview, bro, like I'm coming down from COVID. Like I wasn't like fully COVID anymore, but I was on the come down, right? And I struggled with the group interview because it was it's technically my second group interview, because I had a group interview when I applied for a fucking retail job once, and I did get the job, and it was clear. Obviously, this is a full technical position. I could see the reason why they would want a group interview, but for a bunch of graduates and that or whatever, I was like, this is absolutely cringe. Like, how can you tell somebody's, you got a bunch of random strangers here, never worked with each other before, and you're just telling them to just do this group exercise? And our group exercise was to try and come up with a product using the company I work for as like API. And I noticed it already. So we had a group of like 7 of us, and it was really hard to talk because you had one guy that tried to dominate the conversation because he was the most experienced one. Like I talked to him and he had like 2-3 years experience as like a dev, and I was like, obviously I didn't want to say it. I was like, bro, what the fuck are you applying for an entry level position? Because that's how fucking hard it is out there. But yeah, he tried to dominate the conversation. He tried to really flex his penis out there. So you had him talking. You had this like 17-18-year-old who was like a know-it-all, but like even me, like after going through uni and doing my own projects and that, like some of the stuff he was chatting was just pure shit, but he generally believed what he was talking. Him and the other guy were kind of fighting for dominance in the conversation. Then I had this other guy sitting next to me who was a repeater. Right, he was an absolute repeater. So he would literally like once one of the other guys had finished speaking, he would literally regurgitate what that person was saying and give an absolute surface level opinion on that topic, or nothing at all. He would literally just agree or disagree and give no reason. And I was like, what the fuck am I sitting with? And the other guys in the group, I was one of them. I was just struggling to say anything, but when I did get called on, bro, I smashed it. Like I literally was just like, well, we should do this, we should do that, and just do this, and we should go from this point of view, whatever. Then we had to do a presentation, and I think the presentation kind of mattered more, so we kind of took it in turns for certain aspects of it. And I talked about actually like making money about this product. So these guys were like all talking about, oh yeah, we could make it look like this. They were kind of really, they were thinking about it, but the main thing about a product, they weren't thinking about how the fuck it was going to make money. So that's the way I talked about it. I was like, this is how we're going to make money. And I was talking about gamifying the thing we were talking about and how we'd potentially, subscriptions, all that type of crap. I think that came off. But the thing was for me, like I barely talked in it. I barely talked in the group discussion at all. And I really felt depressed after it because I was like, oh man, I flopped. I flopped this so hard. And I was really like, should I just go home now? Should I just leave? I was really angry with myself because I spent 60 fucking quid coming up here and I've flunked this interview. But I was like, you know what? Went for lunch and I went into my solo interview. And to be fair, I think it really put me in a good headspace because I felt like I failed already. I went into a solo interview with 2 interviewers and that. And I just chatted shit non-stop. I literally was just kind of like I was doing a commentary right now. I wasn't hesitating. They asked me questions. They asked me questions about the website I built. I built it in Flutter. I built it in Dart using the Flutter framework. And I was like, oh yeah, I've done this, that. And then I was talking about my experience as an IT technician. And then I actually spoke about at the time, I don't think it works anymore, but I recently published at the time the OCHD app onto the App Store. So I was able to actually go in depth about those topics because I recently had spoken about, or not recently spoken about, but recently actually, I had to make a fucking app. So it's still fresh in my mind. And I have to appreciate my interviewer. She really was probing me with those questions. It sounded like she was really curious in that. And I was just talking about coding, which, well, they wanted to hear from a coding interview for a coding job. And so it turned out the lady that interviewed me, she was the one that hired me. She's my manager in that right now. And it was actually really kind of mad, right? So most jobs don't really get back to you anytime soon. Like, hell, I'm still getting rejection letters for like interviews I applied for like 2 years ago. But I had to give it to the company I'm working for, right? Literally less than 24 hours later, I think at like 9 o'clock the next morning, I came back from the interview, I got a call and they offered me the job. And I was over the moon, like absolutely over the moon. And I honestly couldn't believe it at first. I generally couldn't believe it. I was like, is this real? Because the person on the phone, the HR lady that offered me a job, she sounded very, how do I put it? My brain is, sorry, I'm so ill. My brain is like, boop, 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 boop. But then, you know what, at the end of the day, my brain is always like that. But it felt like I was about to get bad news. That's the tone of voice she was giving. I felt like she was like kind of, you're getting me ready to drop the bomb. That I didn't get it. But she's like, oh no, you got it. And I was like, sheesh. But it was kind of really just a little bit insane. Like I got the contract sent over. Well, that's the thing for me. I was like, this isn't real until I've got the contract and I've signed it. So about a week later, I got the contract. I signed that bitch and I told Amazon, see you later. And Amazon didn't need to try to fuck me because I recently went salaried with the job. And there used to be just a 2 weeks notice when we was on wage slavery as an IT technician. And as a salaried IT, they changed it to a month. But I gave them like 3 weeks notice and they were like, ugh. But I was like, come on now. My manager was like, all right, cool. But it was really weird. Like it was really, how do I put it? It felt really sombering, the right word. Like I was really into the IT stuff at the time, but the thing was, the reason why I didn't stay at Amazon for IT was, well, for one, an hour drive there every day and back. 2, I felt like I wasn't being challenged anymore. 3, I wanted to get promoted to the next level, which was engineer. But the thing was, with engineer, you got to put in years of experience and kind of wait for it. You either got to go to a new building as a new engineer, or you got to go for at the time, which has now been scrapped, the step up program. And the thing was, I was working with a guy who was a step up IT technician for nearly 2 years, and he was earning like $1,000 a year more than us IT technicians. But he was the most experienced engineer I'd ever worked with. This guy did 3 site builds, which is absolutely insane, and he was getting paid less than some other engineers that were coming in from like the outside, just because Amazon could fuck him over because he needed that job. And it was really fucking disgusting. There was not a lot of money in it really as you go up. And but obviously at the time, I put my head back in that space. I was like, am I making the right decision? Am I making the right call? Is the grass always greener? But yeah, it turned out the grass was always greener. So yeah, I left Amazon really kind of mad. I did actually film my last shift. I came out because I was doing a midnight shift. I came out, got into the car, and I just talked. I just talked to the camera, like my thoughts at the time. Maybe maybe in the future I might release like a documentary of the cup. I don't know, but it was just kind of for my own purpose. Just because at the time it'd been 3 years since I started Amazon. I'd gone through a lot really. I felt like I'd gone through hell in those 3 years. You know what I'm saying? But this is the crazy thing, right? So I started my new job, works from home. I've been coding as an entry level position. It's already been 1 year and 2 months since I started the new job, which is kind of absolutely insane, and it has been such a different world of working. Working remote has been fantastic. Obviously the honeymoon period is over. I really need to get my own place with an office because it still feels so weird. I'm feeling really hard to turn off from work because I'm literally on my gaming PC right now, but this is also where I work. That's one of my only gripe with it, really. But the thing is, yeah, so in that year I've already been promoted. I'm the next level. I'm L2, like junior or just normal software engineer, which is kind of crazy already. If I stayed at Amazon, I probably wouldn't even be IT engineer now. I'd generally probably have to move up north if I wanted a chance for it. And I know I wouldn't have got it at the building I was at because no one else has got it, because you usually have to wait for somebody to leave. And also Amazon, has kind of changed a lot recently. I'm still talking to the IT guys that are still there. They have been decimating. Like they've stopped a lot of the new site builds. They've got rid of the step up program, and they've cut out the engineers. There's literally like one IT technician a shift. I made the right call. Like with hindsight, I made the right call to leave. But anyway, yeah. So I've been in this job for like a year. It's nice to actually be learning. It's nice to actually be coding. Well, I personally don't really like coding that much, but it's nice to feel like every day I'm learning something new. I feel like I'm progressing, because that's the thing of Amazon. It's like you're at Amazon for a year packing boxes. You're going to be a better box packer, but you're not going to get recognized for it. You're not going to get a pay increase, But this job is like, you work harder, you get better, you do more things, you get promoted, you get more money, you get a better position, so to say. So I'm currently working my way up, and to be fair, it's nice to actually be earning okay-ish money, from obviously doing this YouTube stuff for a lot of years and getting nothing out of it. I'm really destroying my mental state. But yeah, that's where I've been. I've just been working away, and to be fair, like the hours have been quite long because I have been learning in the background. I've had to do a lot of code, and to be fair, like Amazon was a mentally and physically draining job. Obviously coding is like a very mentally draining job. Like at the end of my shift, I just want to turn my brain off. So I've really struggled when it comes to creating content, but also I'll talk about things that I've kind of really doubted myself when it comes to content and that now, which maybe I'll talk about a little bit later on. But anyway, I've just spoke for like 21 minutes, but you're probably listening to me right now in your car on the podcast on the way to work. No, I don't even know what you're doing. That's always kind of the craziest thing when it comes to this content creation. I don't know what anybody's doing right now. Most likely, most people, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. You're listening to me on your headphones in bed, and go to fucking sleep. You know what I'm saying? You got work in the morning. Get your ass up. Be a productive member of society. No, I'm joking. Anyway, let's talk about the main topic, the big 3-0. And if I keep talking, it's just going to creep up on me because it's a long ass commentary. The big 3-0 is fucking tomorrow. I've already lost track of what I talked about, man. I started this channel when I was fucking 17, bro. I was a teenager. And I've gone through the rest of my teenage years, my 20s, my early 20s, mid 20s, and late 20s. And I think I've said this before, but I only really took notice of, the only real threat of turning 30 only really dawned on me when I turned 27. Like when I turned 27, I was like, oh shit, I could join the 27 club right now. But also, I'm like 3 years away from being 30. That's a university degree. Obviously, back when I was like 17, 18, bro, 3 years felt like forever. University felt like it was never going to end. But it did. But that sounds very depressing. But yeah, that's how my perception of time has changed. I was like, shit, 3 years is going to come and go. And it has, it absolutely has. And I think obviously my perception of time has 100% changed. I've gone from being, when I was 20, the idea of 30, that's half my life away. That feels like forever. But now I'm like basically 30 now. The idea of being 40, it feels like it could happen tomorrow, bro. And that's how I've kind of changed. And I feel like most people around this age group, whatever, feels exactly the same. And it's really kind of made me, I guess you could say, grow up. For this immature man-child that's been doing YouTube for, nearly 15 fucking years, growing up has been a bit of pill to swallow in a lot of ways, really. Because, yeah, like, I'm not going to be young forever. Hell, I'm not even a young adult anymore. I'm literally just an adult. Fuck, if I die at 60, I'm already in my midlife right now. And, yeah, shit's kind of crazy. But yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about Faye because I think that for me, I've been kind of struggling mentally with the societal pressure that's kind of pushed onto you around about this age group. Because obviously my parents are like, oh yeah, when we get like grandchildren, shit like that. And I'm like, bruh, I can't afford kids. I could barely afford this 1-bedroom place I'm renting out, and I'm doing my 40 hours a week. I'm trying to have a side hustle doing YouTube and Twitch and shit like that, and I'm always constantly working on something. But it's not like your guys' generation where it's like you can have like a 1-income household, you can buy a house, whatever, get on the ladder. It's like I can't afford that. I've talked about this before, but it's like I want to live where I grew up, but I can't afford where I grew up unless I'm earning like 100k a year. It's fucking nuts, bro. Oh, this is something that I can kind of bring up that really Actually, no, that we'll bring this up in a little bit. So going back, yeah, it's a societal pressure of turning 30. Obviously, you got things like grandkid, you got things like in the UK moving into a house. I don't want to be running forever because running forever is just stupid. I've already been running for the last 4 years, and I feel like an absolute fucking idiot. I should just live with my parents for the last 4 years because I might actually have a down payment for a place. Obviously, being an adult now, my time is just my time is just money. My time is represented by money, and it's like very fucking depressing because like time, like having it like that is very realistic. There's no hopeful optimism of the future anymore when you're a lot younger, when I can literally sit there and think, okay, I'm gonna be earning this much per year. When can I realistically get myself, a house deposit for a house, maybe potentially in the Bristol area? And I've got at least another 2-3 years if I keep renting, another 2-3 years of saving before I realistically could have a deposit. And that's crazy to be like, oh, I'll be 33 and finally on the fucking housing ladder, when I know my dad was in fucking, he bought a place on the Central Line at 27 as a painter and decorator. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mean to mock trades because I've worked in trades as a labourer now for a bit, but it's like my dad wasn't educated or anything like that. It was just a different time. It's like I've gone to uni, done all this crap, and it's like, bruh. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, something this year that really was hard was, I know, like, my childhood friends are actually subscribed to this channel, so I hope they are listening to this commentary if they ever get around to it. But I went to a funeral earlier this year, around about March, and it was one of my good childhood friends. His mum sadly passed away, and it was really heartbreaking. It was, for anybody to lose their mother at all, especially at our age, was absolutely devastating. And for me, it was an opportunity to go back to my hometown and that. Like I guess you could say since the last time I made a commentary, I've actually been back to my hometown since then, and about once or twice just going through, not actually properly being there or staying there or whatever for a long period. So yeah, going back was very weird because it had been 5 years since I left, and the area was changing. There was developments in that there were new builds going up where new builds shouldn't be going up, destroying like the local area, things I was very nostalgic for my childhood. But anyway, yeah. I think this is the thing with funerals, it brings people together, and it was nice to see a lot of my childhood friends I grew up with in the area, and the dawning reality was this, bro, was, I just said bro like I'm speaking to you directly, but I guess I kind of am, but the dawning reality was, there were people there that I hadn't seen for 10 years. Literally since I was 20, 2019, whatever, in our teenage years, because I had those 2 gap years where I tried to get YouTube famous between 2012 and 2014, and during that time, a lot of, my childhood friends in the area, we would go play football and stuff like that as we were deciding what to do. A lot of my friends were like, okay, we're either going to university or going to trade school. I went to university, and a lot of guys I grew up with around there, they went to trade school, which was probably the smart decision, 100%, no debt, electricians and stuff, carpenters, making good money as well. But hindsight is everything. But that's the thing. Obviously, going through university, then for me coming back and moving, then going back to university again and living over here, I was like, 10 years have flown by, and like I haven't seen these guys. Like, it was crazy because it felt like yesterday was the last time I saw them. But yeah, it was nice. It was nice reminiscing with them, and just for me, it felt like I was home. Yeah, I know this is a crazy thing to say, but it was so nice being back in the area. It was so nice being back in the area, be surrounded by a community. The community I grew up in. Like, I really missed it because living in Bristol has been cool and that, but I kind of have abandoned, my family and like childhood friends and stuff like that. But also just a sense of community as well, and a sense of loving for an area, because I did love the area I grew up in. I really do, and I would love to be back there. And but anyway, I think the one thing that really stood out to me was all my friends in that there, all around my age, are 29, 28, 30. And this is what really shocked me, right? All of them are in decent jobs, either like, carpenter or accountant, stuff like that, all earning good money. Hell, some of them even fucking have 2 jobs, right? But what stood out to me, right? Because obviously they're all renting around the area we grew up in, or they're renting in London. And obviously they want to live around here because I can't blame them. It's got, good nightlife and that in London, good social sphere. And obviously our community where we grew up in is there. This is what really kind of shocked me. Not a single one of them is on the housing ladder, and not a single one of them is close. Like, massive thing that shocked me, right? It was one of the guys I was talking to there. He's like a electrician engineer, like manager or something, and I think literally him and his girlfriend, like, they were renting, and that they're obviously he's about to turn 30 as well. Him and his girlfriend has just moved back in with their parents because they just can't afford the rent anymore, and they want to actually realistically save to get on the housing ladder. And that's kind of been something I've really been noticing around our age groups, and as people been going back. Obviously we want the independence, like I want the independence, to be living on my own, doing my own thing, but it's like if you can't afford the rent anymore and you want to save for a fucking house, realistically, you got to go back and live with your parents, which is really fucking depressing, especially around our ages when we should be doing our own thing. And it's not our fault. We're working our asses off, but everything's just fucked up. The housing market is literally impossible. So yeah, it was actually kind of frightening because all of our parents at our ages were easily on the ladder at this point. Most of them been on the ladder for multiple years. And yeah, kind of fucking depressing. It really doesn't paint a good picture for the future for a lot of us. And I think the thing is as well, like obviously I'm asking about other people we grew up with, from school and stuff. And I think literally only like 2 or 3 people I know that I went to school with are on the housing ladder right now. And most of them massive help from their parents. But most of them as well, they're in apartments. They're not in like houses or stuff. Like they couldn't afford to get on a house. They're going for the first step, getting a flat apartment, then moving up, which, man, is depressing. Man, it's fucking depressing. I think that was kind of the craziest thing, like seeing those guys and that, because I was generally, I felt like I was falling behind, which I technically am, but we're all behind. We're all behind the previous generations, bro. We're all behind the previous generations. And I think that is a societal pressure. That is a massive societal pressure, especially in the UK. It's like, oh, you got to get on the ladder. But it's obviously where. I know people are like, oh, yeah, you could just go up north. Get a place for like 100 grand up north. But then for one thing, you got to live up north. It might not be the best town. It might not be connected well. Obviously, you got a remote job. That's cool. But it's the thing, like, if you're one of those people that doesn't have a remote job, you got to be where the work is. And the reality is, if you're up north in a 100k like house or whatever, you're probably going to have some sort of trade. There's probably not going to be a lot of software engineering jobs now up in person, you know what I'm saying? So there's always trade-offs. Housing is about location. And if a house is cheap, there's probably something wrong with the location. But I don't know. I've been looking around and I was trying to think, well, where do I go? And for me, it's just obviously it's wasted money every month. Like at the end of the day, if you're gonna have to pay for accommodation, I'd rather not pay for a landlord. I'd rather put it into a mortgage and try and get something out of it. Because if I'd got some cheap place straight away 4 years ago, shit, I'd already be 4 years into a mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Which is, but yeah, obviously that's been the main thing on my mind. And I think everybody around this age group can 100% relate to it because, well, the thing is, it's like, I'm not asking for a lot. I feel like I'm not asking for a lot. I grew up in a 2-bedroom ex-council house, like fucking terrace gaff, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I just want that. I'm not asking for a lot, bro. My bedroom was smaller than my university room, bro. It was fucking tiny, bro. My dad always used to say, like, if they'd had another child, my dad would never be able to afford to live there. We'd have to move somewhere else. Because, you couldn't fit 2 children in that house. It was literally impossible. And I feel like I'm not asking for a lot. I'm not dreaming big for a 2-bedroom house. Fuck, where I grew up, it's like, bro, that is dreaming big because it's fucking so expensive where I grew up. So yeah, for me, realistically, and I think a lot of my generation and obviously a lot of people around me are kind of, we've kind of been hit by that harsh reality. It's like, fuck, we've got to go somewhere else. And so for me, it's like, where is somewhere else? Because obviously in Bristol now as well, it's like, the house price is pretty much the same as London mostly. Like, and that's kind of the thing for me. It's like, well, if I'm going to buy a place for the same, I don't know, the price of houses around here, I'll just go buy a house where I grew up, you know what I'm saying, instead type of thing. Probably be a better investment at the end of the day. But so for me, I'm currently at that point mentally where I'm like, well, what next? Where am I going? What place? Or where am I going to move to at the end of the day? Like, am I going to move north? Am I going to move maybe to like Wales or maybe to another country? Because I feel like the UK, especially at the moment with interest rates climbing up, and if they're going to be staying above like the rates they are right now, it's kind of depressing. It's kind of depressing, and it's kind of a little bit of a struggle. But yeah, that's kind of the main societal pressure I've been dealing with. I feel like if I was on the housing ladder in that right now, I'd feel a lot less stressed. But obviously, then you would have the stress of a mortgage payment. But then my next stress and my next societal pressure is just money. It's like that fucking 21 Pilots song where it's like, I'll wake up, you need to make money. Every single day it's like that, bro. Like, I've even been tempted to pick up a second job on the weekends. I've even been tempted to go back to the Amazon warehouse to pick up more work just because you just need more money, bro. There's just not enough of it. With inflation going around, everything is just so much more expensive. Wages stagnating. It's been a massive struggle. It's really been a massive struggle for absolutely everyone. And I think, I'm kind of feeling that right now. 100% feeling that right now. I am feeling the pressure of the provider role, in terms of a household, and you're just always constantly providing. I don't know how my fucking dad did it all his life, bro. Like, mad. It generally is mad. It's like the fact that I've got like another 30, 35, 40 years of this crap. It's like, sheesh. But yeah, like, I'm struggling with that. I'm also struggling with the representation of 30 in the media. I always remember growing up watching Friends, and I always remember the episode where Joey turned 30, and they made a really big deal about it. You know, he was really sad about it. He didn't want to hear 30. He kind of felt like his life was ending. And I felt like that's always been portrayed in the media like that. And I kind of am feeling like that. I kind of am feeling like, well, my hopes and dreams are kind of all over now. It's like, who the fuck's going to want to watch a 30-plus-year-old man, like white male, making YouTube videos? You know, it kind of feels like, well, I had my chance. Well, I didn't really have a chance, but I had my go at making YouTube videos and Twitch streaming. I didn't make it. And now it's like, well, what next? It's kind of like, well, I'm in an okay career and I can work my way up in my career. But I think if you've watched my videos over the years, you can kind of understand it's like I've never cared about a career. I don't care about, working my way up a corporate chain for a job I absolutely hate. You know what I'm saying? I want to be doing what I want to be doing, but the reality is I can't do what I want to do. But that's a sentiment that's felt by 99.99% of people. Obviously, I'm going to bitch and moan about it because that's what we can all relate to. But obviously I want to keep trying, but now I'm realistically, my time is becoming more valuable to me now. And the harsh reality is just like, if I, outside of my job, if I put more time into coding, more time into qualifications, hell, I could get a better job. Or well, my job actually ain't too bad, but I could get more paying job. And that's all I want. I want more money and less work. I want to be working 4 days a week, remote, earning more money. I want to be earning as much as I can. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to be earning over 100K a year. That generally, you only live once, give me all the fucking money. But realistically, I feel like, after a couple of years, if I make the right moves, maybe, but I don't know. But obviously, I know that's going to take time. And obviously, if I put that time into it, I'm going to, obviously neglect what I want to actually do. And that's streaming and that's YouTube. But obviously, the optimistic goggles of being young is gone. Time is more definite now. Time, you kind of feel time a lot more. Time is going by a lot quicker. And it's like, well, bruh, I've already put 13 years into this content creation shit. I could easily put another 13 years into it and have the exact same result. But also, with hindsight, I look back and it's just like, well, I'm not good at this shit. At the end of the day, I don't stand out. I've talked about this before. I don't have a good voice. I'm not a female. I've not got a whole production team behind me editing my videos. I haven't networked and kissed my ass, kissed the way up to a group of people. But no, that's just me being soy. That's just me being soy at the end of the day. I feel love for people that have made it, Twitch streamers and YouTubers and that. But I think like anybody that has grown up with professional sports, it kind of hurts when, like for me right now, like as I said, turning 30, it kind of hurts seeing like people, like I think there's this like footballer that just debuted for like Barcelona and he's like 15 and I'm like, oh man. Like, what you mean I'm not gonna be a footballer? But it's kind of like that with YouTube, when you put 13 years in it and you see some fucking kid start YouTube and 1 week later they're like full-time, and you hear like that's the thing, like 1 year later they'll be making a video. It's like, oh man, I struggled, bro. I was really out there in the trenches, bro. I only had my friend that had 10 million subscribers like host me after every stream and shout out my videos. I was really struggling out here, and it's like, oh bro, shut the fuck up. But no, that's just life. You got 8 billion people out there. That someone's got to make it. But someone's got to make it. But I want it to be me. But no, like I think I'm at a very confusing stage in my life right now. I feel like I'm at the actual proverbial crossroads. I feel like I'm at a massive crossroads in my life right now, and I really feel like it's going to define probably the rest of my life, the decisions I make now, which is kind of horrifying. It really is. I know a lot of people say like, oh, when you go to university and that you're making a huge decision for the rest of your life. I generally feel like now I'm at that point where I'm making those decisions. I'm making those decisions where I feel like it's going to affect me for the rest of my life. It's like, well, do I carry on my career? Do I try and work up as quick as I can? Do I try and get myself into a high paid position? And then do I try and, get on the housing ladder and do what society wants me to do? Or do I do that but also take more of a laxical role in the background to my career progression? And do I keep up with YouTube and Twitch? But the thing is, I've run out of ideas. I think Robert can relate to this on like Unoriginal Content HD. It's like, we want to be like really creative and stuff like that, making videos, but it's like, but what? It's like, what's gonna stand out? Like, what's gonna put us on the map? It's like, who knows? And I think that's kind of thing for me after all these years. It's like I've generally just kind of run out of ideas, and I always kind of felt like, maybe this is kind of it. I don't know. I generally don't know. Like, I generally want to keep doing this, but it really kind of is a massive crossroad in my life. And I feel like I'm rambling, I feel like I'm waffling right now, but this is what these commentaries end up becoming. Because hell, I've been talking for nearly 40 minutes now. I think it's kind of impressive that I can just chat shit for this long. As usual, I probably haven't hit all the topics I want to talk about, but yeah, in conclusion, I'm kind of struggling with the mental idea of turning 30 just because of societal pressure of what's kind of expected from me. You know, it's like, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And also I'm struggling with where to go next, you know, as a human or as a person, and what I want out of life. Obviously you guys know what I want out of life, and I can sing to the, I don't know, the skies all day long, but the reality is I need to make it happen. And yeah, I'm not making it happen by not uploading, but also I second guess myself because my content is shit at the end of the day. But I don't know, I'm in a really struggling mental state at the moment, and it could be to do with the fact that I'm ill right now, but we'll see what the future holds. We'll see where it goes, and hell, maybe I'll make a video 10 years from now and everything's like rosies and whatever, gumdrops. Anyway, this is going on for too long. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you please rate, comment, subscribe, and oh yeah, subscribe for daily videos.